Hello friends, Athena here, and today I thought we would talk about safety tests that can be done during the product development stages of personal care products. These tests are done to make sure that cosmetic products are safe, stable, will survive transportation to get to you, and that their preservatives are working properly. I want to preface this by saying that this isn't a comprehensive video of all the testing types available. This is just some really common ones. First, let's talk about challenge testing, also known as preservative efficacy testing or PET testing. This is when you take a formulated product and intentionally introduce microorganisms to it that are commonly found as contaminants. There are two leading standards to how challenge testing should be done, and this is USP 51 and ISO 11930. The 5 strains of microorganisms that products are typically inoculated with include Staphylococcus aureus, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Candida albicans, Escherichia coli, otherwise known as E. coli, and Aspergillus braziliensis. 3 of these microorganisms are bacteria and 2 are fungi. Once the product has been inoculated with these microorganisms, the concentration of the microorganisms is observed after 17, 14, and 28 days. A product passes the challenge test if the fungi count decreases and the bacteria count decreases to within normal levels after 14 days. This proves the efficacy of the preservatives being used within the formula. Stability testing is conducted to make sure that for the duration of a product's shelf life, its chemical, physical, and microbiological properties are maintained. From what I understand, most products are formulated with a 3-year stability in mind. However, the actual shelf life of a product is going to be determined by how long the actives and preservatives stay functional within the formula. While ideally you'd be able to formulate a product and place it on a shelf at room temperature for the duration of a 3-year study, that isn't very feasible when we look at the product development life cycle for cosmetics and how fast things come out in the beauty community. Accelerated aging of formulated products is often done using an incubator, where a finished product will be placed within an incubator running at 10 degrees above room temperature, and this is able to simulate a 3-year shelf life in half the time, meaning 1.5 years. The theory behind this is that every 10 degrees you keep a product at above room temperature increases the reaction rate by double. 25 degrees Celsius is often considered room temperature, so this means that if you keep a product in an incubator at 35 degrees Celsius, you only have to test it for 1.5 years. If you raise this temperature again to 45 degrees Celsius, you'll only have to test the product 9 months to know approximately what will happen to the stability of the formula with a 3-year shelf life in mind. However, most labs aren't going to test in the 45 to 55 degrees Celsius range because you can have inactivation of your actives and your preservatives at higher temperatures that the product really was never meant to be in. A product is considered stable if it doesn't undergo major changes in scent, color, or its physical properties, such as its pH, viscosity, or separating into its major components. Freeze cycling is another form of stability testing that I imagine is becoming more popular since a lot of people are buying skincare fridges. Freeze cycling is freezing a product completely one day and then the next day allowing it to thaw out completely at room temperature. This is done for a set amount of cycles, usually 6, which would take 12 days to complete, and this is a great way to test if an emulsion is going to maintain its stability and not separate into its components or crystallize in low temperatures. Photobiology testing is used to determine the efficacy of SPF, sun protection factor, as well as UVA and UVB protection. These are usually in vivo tests, and from my research, the main standard for this is ISO 2444. This protocol for SPF measurement involves applying 2 milligrams per square centimeter of product on a blocked out patch of skin and then applying a sunlight simulator to determine the SPF efficacy. For this test, the sun simulation UV radiation spectrum has to be between 290 and 400 nanometers. Water resistance testing is also done before a sunscreen product can make any claims in terms of water resistance, and this is done by allowing the test area to dry 15 to 30 minutes before submerging the patient in a spa pool for 20 minutes, followed by 4 minutes of water agitation. They are then removed from the spa pool, the patch is allowed to dry for 5 minutes, and then the sun simulator is used in the same area. This is done in cycles until the SPF is no longer effective. Based on how long and how many cycles the SPF is effective for during the water resistance test will determine what kind of duration claims they can make on the bottle. Performance testing is related to the marketing and advertisements that you'll see on a product. For example, if you've ever seen a lotion that says 93% of women say they saw visible improvement in fine lines and wrinkles, that would be a performance test. Typically, you will get 2 groups of test subjects where one will be given the actual product you're testing and the other will be given a generic. A lot of these studies don't judge effectiveness by any scientific means. They really go by the opinions of the test subjects after using the product. Compatibility testing of a product ensures that there are no corrosive effects between the packaging and the formulation. It also ensures that your packaging is durable and lasts for a very long time. Drop testing is a form of compatibility testing to ensure that your product isn't going to shift in its packaging if it's dropped during shipping or while it's being transported, or to make sure that once filled, the component isn't going to break if the product is dropped once. Drop testing is typically done from specific heights, dropping the component onto specific materials like a cement floor or a metal plate. Hinge testing can also be done to determine how many times you can open a product before hinge failure occurs. And ideally, hinge failure doesn't occur until long after the shelf life of the product. Hinge testing is important because if you've ever had a product where the packaging just sort of broke down before the useful life of the product was over, it just kind of really sucks and makes you feel like the packaging was cheap. Safety and toxicological testing can be done in vitro or in vivo. In vitro uses cell cultures and in vivo uses animal or human test subjects. Common tests performed on rabbits, rats, or mice include dermal, subdermal, irritation, inhalation, and oral toxicity studies. The ones I typically look at are inhalation studies, which subject an animal to increasing concentrations of an aerosolized chemical in order to determine if irritation or arrhythmia occurs to the mucous membranes, meaning the eyes, nose, throat, and lungs. Dermal testing often includes repeated topical application to a shaved area of skin over a specific period of time. This is to determine if arrhythmia occurs and if the skin can recover over the observational period. In vitro cosmetics testing has come a long way and can be done using a variety of different cell cultures so that no living creatures have to be harmed. In vitro testing can be really effective for a variety of different tests. I see it often done for dermal irritation. Stress mediators are released by the skin cells when a chemical has penetrated through the upper layers of the skin, and this is an easy way to determine if skin irritation is going to occur if the cells start releasing these stress mediators. Lately in my ingredient research, I've noticed that a lot of the animal toxicology studies done are really old, which to me is a really positive sign that we've come further in vitro testing and that soon it'll replace animal testing altogether. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're interested in more content like this, please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you want to see next.